Hello everyone. I just thought I'd pop on to just do a really quick video relating to shifts. I'm not going to go into lots and lots of detail. I just want to sort of remind people of maybe 3 points that might help in terms of understanding shifts and how they can be experienced and how the human being can feel when a shift has occurred within you. Okay, so I hope this helps, and if it's not for you, if it doesn't resonate, please let it be. We have recently been through one shift, and I'm definitely expecting us to experience more shifts by the end of 2025. So it's quite a lot for us to integrate. It's a lot for us to go through. I've also been told within my dream time in September that, you know, by Christmas, people, not everyone, but people are going to feel quite exhausted because of the amount of energy that is coming through, as well as you know, the amount of transformations and shifts that we're going through. It might be quite a lot for people. You know, everybody experiences differently, so I really am always reaching out to those that you know, perhaps are grateful for support, knowing that some people don't need it. Okay, so number one is when we go through a shift, if you imagine that this ruler is like a building, or you could say it's a ladder, okay? A ladder with different rungs on the ladder. But just for an analogy's sake, let's say that this is a building. And let's say that, say, you are here on this floor of the building. And so your everyday life, you're used to this floor, you've started to understand this floor, you work on this floor, yeah, you experience on this floor. You know, I know we have, you could say it's a level, but you know, in terms of a building, it's floor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to whatever this skyscraper is. But you could say that the more time you spend on this floor, the more you become accustomed to it. You get to know it, it becomes familiar, okay? But the more you work on it, the more and more and more you work on it, it can be that people stay on this floor for the rest of their lives, okay? It really depends on your soul's intention for this lifetime, or that you stay on this floor for a year or 2 years or 5 years or 10 years. You know, it's very different for everybody. But let's say there's a shift. What happens, you could say as an analogy, just to help explain, is that you're in the elevator when a shift comes, and instead of being on this floor, you go up the elevator, and then the doors of the elevator open, and you're suddenly on a new floor. Now imagine that for a moment with me. The elevator doors open. You don't know what's on the floor until you start to walk. It's very unfamiliar. You have no idea what's in it until you get out of the elevator and start to walk, and that's going to be your everyday experience. And as you walk around the floor, the new floor that you're on, there's going to be some doors that you try to open and they won't open. And that will be because, you know, and that's just an analogy, a door that doesn't open. And that will be because at that point in your life, at that point on your embodiment or path or ascension, you haven't activated the correct coding within you to open that door. But the more you stay on that floor, the more you work within yourself, on yourself, the more as time progresses, you'll find the inner keys the inner activation codes, you could call them, that then open a door on that floor. So at that new level for you, it can feel at a human level very disconcerting. It can feel like no man's land, as I've explained before. Whenever we have a shift, we will feel like we are in no man's land. And it's just by taking those day-to-day every steps that, you know, you just realize, yes, okay, I'm here now. So now I'm at this space in this frequency, but I'm in not knowing. Whereas when you were here, you'd learnt this part, you'd experienced this part, you went from not knowing here to knowing, because you'd worked within, you'd taken your steps, you'd made your highest choices. You know, by the highest choices, you shift. If we don't make the highest choices, we don't shift, we cycle. And that's why people can get stuck in certain light nodes, because that's ultimately what they are. I know I'm describing a building here, or you could say it's rungs of a ladder, like Jacob's ladder, you could say it that way. But ultimately, you know, what I get shown always has been light nodes. And the reason I call them light nodes is because there's a geometrical, vast design for this construct. And for the human, that means within that lighted design, there's these intersections of light, and where the light intersects, that's where there's a light node. You know, right in the center of that, there's more lines that intersect, but within those intersections is a light node. And so we jump from one light node to another, or at least we potentially can, and everybody can. Okay. And, you know, there's no race, and there's no rush, and there's no pressure, and there's no try, and there's no pushing. Everybody has their own blueprint, their own timing, their own design. So if you notice any pushing within you, or people pushing you, or pressure within you, or people pressurizing you, look at that, because it's a program. It's always in the letting go. It's always in the surrender that we actually shift. And what we're letting go of and surrendering is actually the programs that we've experienced within us in this human form, within forgetfulness. Okay, so back to the light nodes. Now let's just imagine this light node here, 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 here. These are intersections of this lattice of geometrical light design. Let's say that you are here on this light node, and that somebody you know, friends, family, work colleague, partner, you know, anybody, but let's just say that somebody is here. Okay, so they're quite close in terms of light nodes to you, or somebody is here, or somebody is here, somebody is here, yeah, but quite close to the light node that you're on. They're the people that you're going to feel aligned to and at ease with, like a resonance, because they're quite close to the frequency that you are on. Right? There'll be people on this frequency as well with you. You'll feel amazingly aligned to those people because they'll be on the same frequency as you. But let's just say there's light nodes everywhere, yeah, because there's loads. I have drawn this in the past in several ways, but there's lots and lots of light nodes that we traverse as humanity together. We're just on different light nodes all the time to each other. Okay, so let's say that there is somebody here, or there is somebody here on this light node. Notice it's further away from you. Or there's somebody here on this light node, even further away from you. This is you, this is somebody else. Or they could be here, or here, yeah? Or here. The further away from you a person is on their light node, the less you resonate with them. So in other words, they are having an entirely different experience to you the further away, because what it is their frequency is further away from your frequency, and there's no right or wrong frequency. Energy just is. There's no right or wrong thing about energy hertz. It's just an experience of energy frequency that denotes your perception. And that's it. But this person will not resonate with you, and you won't resonate with them. And it can be that if you are too far away, you can this person could be greatly triggered by you, or greatly triggered by me, even if they don't know me. You know, they could easily be triggered by something that I write or something that I say, and all it actually is, if you go past any judgment this person could have, all it actually is they're just on a different frequency, and so they don't relate to this perception over here. Yeah, the higher we go in energy frequency, by the way, it becomes that you become so at peace within yourself and so understanding, and so you could say there's a wisdom, a soul wisdom that opens up within you, where you actually are at peace with every single person's perception in the world. It doesn't mean you resonate with everybody's perception in the world, but you will be at peace with it because you know it just is. You know it is just the overall design, that everybody will always be a different frequency to you, and everybody will always have their own unique perception. And when you can acknowledge that just within yourself and realize that it's always going to be that way, that's when you can find peace with every single person's perception. You'll never be triggered by people's perceptions. You will just accept them, and it's you that stays in peace. Because you're literally in acceptance that everyone outside of you has their own unique perception. So going back to shifts, what happens, say, if we're in a shift or a potential shift, is that say you're here and a person's here, suddenly this person could go there. And so there's a difference between you. This person has actually moved further away from you. Or it could be that they're here and you suddenly go there. And so, again, this person can seem further away from you. And it's a time where I call it musical chairs, because people are moving around within all the light nodes, or the potential is there to do so. So it can be that when we go through any shift, whether it's a small shift or a larger shift, it can be that people that you may resonate with, you may resonate less with. People can start to move out of your experience and your reality. But just as people are all moving around like musical chairs, people can move out of your reality, but at the same time, people will be moving into your reality that resonate with you. There's a magnetism, yeah, in terms of coming into your realities. So I hope that helps. It can be, at shift times, it can be a time when people transition, and it can be a time when people move out of your experience because it's time. And, you know, there's no judgment with that. It's just part of the blueprint that you have, and your blueprint is different to everybody else's. Yeah. So it can be what I call musical chairs, where people move into your reality as well as move out of your reality. And just lastly, as a way of reassurance to people that read a lot of, multimedia, social media information about ascension, and can feel, maybe that they're doing something wrong, or that they're being left behind, or that they're not as good as, you know, that type of thing. I just want to share support and reassurance to you. And that's to go over something that I've explained several times over the years, which is sine waves. Yeah? Sine wave is this shape, and it's energy frequency. So we all have our own sine wave that's unique to us as an individual. Birds, animals have sine waves. We follow them. Mother Earth has this massive sine wave every day, every month, and every year. You know, you could say that the yearly sine wave equates to the summer solstice, and then the September equinox, and then the winter solstice at the bottom. Yeah, that's the lowest frequency for winter solstice, and then the spring equinox. You see, I'll do that again. The yearly sine wave for Mother Earth is at its zenith, at its peak is the summer solstice. That's the highest frequency. And then it goes down to the September equinox, lower frequency, down to the winter solstice, which is the lowest frequency, the least amount of sun. And then we rise up to the March equinox. That's the yearly one. But we also, that's a macro sine wave. We also have the daily one. If you look at birds and nature and plants and trees, they go through their sine wave every day as well. You know, there's the point of great activity, eating, absorbing nutrients, and then there's the part down where we go to sleep, and rest, etc. So we have our own sine wave, but it's not just about our physical body. This is the part that I want to share to support you. Somebody could be posting on Facebook that, you know, they're as high as a kite, everything's wonderful. It could be a very encouraging post saying we're here and this is happening and isn't it wonderful? And you could feel awful. You could feel that you're low. Okay, you're the people I'm reaching out to in this point. Okay, remember the sine wave. A human being has a daily sine wave of their own, but you also have a 3-day sine wave. So somebody could be at their high, on their zenith of their sine wave, and you could be at your low point on your sine wave. But if you're at your low point and you look at why am I low? Why do I feel this way? Why do I feel down? What is going on within me? And if you're looking inwardly rather than looking outwardly and blaming others for how you feel, if you just look inwardly, that's when you find the gold at the lowest point that you feel on your 3-day sine wave. If you find that goal, you rise. You rise in energetic frequency, and that's how you end up shifting and jumping light node points. It's by looking for the gold at your lowest point, because there's gold, there's treasure in every low point we experience. So it can be that you might read posts or hear people talking that are speaking very positively about things, saying that, you know, maybe everything is wonderful from their perspective or where they are. But you have to remember they're on their sine wave and they're speaking from their highest point. And it will be that they will have to transcend down, and then they will experience a low. And it might just be that they don't speak about that publicly, because nobody has to. You know, none of us have to, you know, share publicly the things that we go through. We have a right to our own privacy. We don't have to share it with the world when we're at our low points or the difficulties that we go through. And that's our sovereign right. Yeah? So it can be that people go through their lows in private, and it can be that when you read, you know, somebody's post, you could actually be triggered by the fact that somebody is so positive because you're at your low point. Yeah, it's never to compare you to another. And it's never to compare where you are in your embodiment to where another person is on their embodiment path. Because if you were to compare, what you're really doing is, underneath that comparing, there's maybe what is unseen is competing. And if there is any element within you of competition, all that's really happening, ultimately speaking, is that you're competing against your own self. And so it's to surrender that, because you have the perfect path, you have the perfect timing, you have your perfect design, and your design won't be anybody else's, and it isn't mine either. Yeah. And it's just to find your design, to understand your design slowly, slowly, slowly as it unfolds, to have faith in your design, faith, and to stay true to it, because that's where your inner power lies. And I'm not talking about an ego power, I'm talking about the eternal strength of your soul, and the eternal love of your soul, and the eternal knowings of your soul that will come forth from within you. Everyone has their own design. And so it is that we're doing all of this together as a collective, but by our own internal design. There are the many ways. There's no wrong way, and there's no right way. There's just your way. And the way that we rise, the way that we shift, yeah, is always through love, as well as an inner devotion to be the highest version of ourselves that we can be. And that highest version will always be serving, meaning it doesn't just think about self. It's not about selfish self and what selfish self can gain for itself. It's about the fact that we're all one, we're all together, and it's that devotion to wanting to be the purest, highest version that you already are. Because the truth is, we are already it. We are. It's just that we're having this experience of descending into a lower frequency bandwidth and into forgetfulness. And it's that we're rising out of, shift by shift by shift by shift, into remembrance and into the emergence within us of our higher self, which is the divine self. And the divine self is the one that always has been completely connected as one to the divine creator. And that's where we're headed. And you know, it's just to support one another as we go. To remember that we're doing this together, and to try not to forget that we are here together, doing this together. We don't have to agree or resonate with anyone's style or way. But it is to try and just step back if you feel triggered by anyone, or if you feel low and you feel less than, or you know that you're doing something wrong. Just step back and come into here, come into your heart space, and breathe in love to the heart center, your toroidal field, where the center of your toroidal field is. Breathe in love, and then breathe out love to the whole of your body and to the whole of your field. And the more you do that, the more you will expand that love out from past you as an individual, And that expansion of love will just go out and out and out and out and out to everyone and everything and every kingdom. And it will just become one experience of love within one. So I send you love. I know that this year has been so intense in many ways for all of us. No one excluded from that. No matter who we are, no matter what we say, no matter what we teach, no matter what we support with, every single person has to experience the highs and the lows within this experience, within this, matrix or program or construct. That's what we're here for. Nobody's exempt from that. And so it's just to have love and have compassion and have understanding for what people go through. That's how we rise, through love, through peace, and through compassion. And God bless you all. Take care. Bye-bye. Hope it helps.